Good day, YouTubers, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all around the world. Got a comment from one of my viewers that the plans show that you weren't supposed to cut out the deck plates that we put on this piece of plywood in these areas that would have been okay not to cut them out, because once you snap that piece in there and glue it down, the height of that key that's in there doesn't stick up above the deck. So he showed me a picture on the comment that showed this whole deck with no dark lines in it from the frames where the key sticks up through the deck. And of course he's right, but what threw me off was this one shot here, and it shows up again in a couple other places that had the keyway cut out where the deck boards went on top of the plywood. And if you go further down in the, get my mouse over here, you can see that view there. See if I can zoom in. It's showing that piece not cut out and the boards just go over the top of it, but I did it to all the plates. Of course not this one, there's no key in this middle one, but I did it to all the plates, and it was obvious that it shouldn't have been cut out. So because of that one shot there that shows, there's is again on that one there, I cut them all out, and I shouldn't have, and of course they shouldn't have either in that one spot. But so what I did was take some pieces of the 0.5 millimeter by 3 millimeter planking. I had some left over from the Bounty, and I made sure it was the right fit and glued it in there, and then I went back after the glue dried and drew the lines in the pencil marks for the pins and the separation between the deck boards. And it's still a little darker than the rest of the deck, but at least it there's no good way around that. There's, you know, at least it is flush, and it's got the markings of the deck boards on it. So when we get further into the build, we'll work on doing something to cover that up or whatever. But that was a good catch. That viewer let me know, and I've tried to repair, and after I did the markings with a pencil, I put a coat of varnish on it. I think I'm going to recoat the whole deck again with varnish, second coat, just to help it blend in a little bit, because it is darker, and it shows the edge of that opening where the laser cut the plywood. So I also put little pieces of wood in, plank boards in these keyways on the side too, on all of them, and mark them up. So hopefully we can make that look good. So yesterday I glued up the rest of all these bulkhead beams and the frame members to those beams, so I got that done on both sides. So now I'm going to paint the black in the background there for the cannon holes in those openings, like it shows here in the plans. And after that, I got to start putting planking on the bow and the stern, but I want to get that black done. So that's my next step. So we got the black all done, and we're starting to do some planking on these front here in the bow. I'm just looking at the orientation of this because I had to 45 that edge off to get that last piece to fit in there right. And there isn't much play. I don't want to have glue coming out everywhere. So the other pieces are on there now, but as you can see, I had to put some pins near the top. They wanted us to start from the top down. Because that bulkhead is not exactly flat there in the center, I had to push in on a little bit to get these first 3 or 4 to suck up to those ribs. There's 4 ribs in there. I think that'll work just fine for that one. And then we did these other 3, 1, 2, 3 up through there, and this one over here. So that should get us where we're on this step of putting them boards down the front. There's the 4 ribs I had to go to, starting with the one on the top, and then doing these under the lips of this deck sticking out, getting those planked in on all 4 places. So we gotta let that dry, because this, I'm gonna have to turn the ship upside down to do that, because that's underneath the back end. This is the ship sitting straight up, so we gotta plank this spot here. All those pieces are ready to face off with some planking. And it looks like we go all the way down to the keel. And then we start trimming off our stuff hanging out. And repeat the trimming. That's what this R stands for, is repeat. And it's showing us here to trim the stuff hanging out. So this one is next. Getting that back end done. So pretty good progress. I have to let that dry for a while before I come back to it. I did start digging my shallow well, and I got down like 7 or 8 feet. And that got my back a little sore, so I'm taking a break from that for a couple days. Twisting that big old screw head drill thing down in there, cutting a hole that's about 6 inches wide at one time, so it's quite a bit of dirt I'm bringing out, but there's some pretty hard limestone down in there I'm having to break through. So hopefully I'll hit sand or something lighter than that further down, but I had to take a break before I kill myself. Well, after we trim and sand all these things sticking out off, then we start planking. The planking begins. So there's the beginning of my shallow well. Use this tool, I can put on as many lengths as I want to dig down. This is adjustable from 6 to 8 inches. You just put it in there and twist it and pull it back up, get a pile of dirt out. Now you can see we got down there about 7 feet right now. I gotta go like 20, 25 feet. It's rough going because I'm hitting that limestone with rocks in it. But it comes out a little bit at a time. Hopefully I'll hit water. So we just started a new garden We're going to put some more vegetables in there tomorrow. Mr. Mufasa. That area where he just walked, there's nothing in there yet, but I got cabbage, pumpkins, beans are popping up, and we just planted this a few days ago. Squash, those are asparagus that were started in pots, and I just put them in the ground. Peas, cucumbers, chives, got some strawberries in the back, beets, kale, carrots. Those are blueberry bushes with some onions in there. Potatoes coming up. Some more onions here. Sage, and then kale will be in the front when it comes up. Springtime is here. Fossil says, thanks for watching.